Hello, hello, and welcome to Simulacra Studio presents Trinity, Continuum, Aeon, Lunar Rocks. I am your story guide, Scott. We have today Puka playing Mycelium. We have Diane playing Frankie Valentine. We have Nigel playing Bram and Murphy playing Hannah. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
And currently Athena moonlighting as a cat.
Kittums are welcome on any stream that I do. Before we get started, I just wanted to make a quick note that Beyond Electric Dreams, the book that this campaign is kind of based around, is out on the StoryPath Nexus. There'll definitely be a link in the show notes on that. I hope everyone gets a chance to check it out, and there may well be spoilers/story hooks for this campaign because, well, why throw away ideas? But there you go.
So used, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. So we begin tonight's game in the mind of Otha Herzog. This is the old man who knows everything, the proxy of the ISRA, the Clairsentient Psi Order. And he is walking through the corridors of time and possibility, using his massive psionic power. These corridors just so happen to look like the halls of his school on the lunar surface. And he turns a corner and opens a door that just so happens to have Bram, Frankie, and Hannah in it. They are all sitting, waiting for, presumably, this meeting. He takes a half step in, looks around, considers, and says, No, it would be better if all of them were here. He closes the door, leaving the three of you very confused. Turns another corner, opens an identical door into an identical room that now also has mycelium in it. He says, yes, much better. And he comes in and takes a seat at the table that you all have been waiting at. He is a ridiculously old man. The public record shows him as being born in sometime in the early 21st century. So he is well over 100 years old and quite ancient and looks every bit of it, but still seems healthy and spry and very alert. He's wearing kind of a very simple sort of silver gray collection of robes and scarves. And he says, yes, this is a much better configuration for this particular conversation. Hello. It is a pleasure to meet all of you. I am Otha Herzog. You can, of course, introduce yourselves to me, but I do know who you all are.
Was Mice with us the whole time?
In this version of reality, yes.
Okay.
In this premutation of Otha's vision, he has chosen a timeline to have this conversation in which Mice has always been here. They decided...
So we're not confused.
You're not confused. Yeah, this is the way it's always been.
Oh,
Hi.
Hello. So,
Hannah, I guess, if we're introducing ourselves. I mean, feels rude not to, even if you know who we are.
It's generally considered to be polite, but we can dispense those if you do not feel as such. So I understand you all have stirred up quite the mess of trouble for yourselves.
Not intentionally.
I mean, kind of happened, and, well, that's why we're here.
Well, that's the thing about it. Nothing just happens, and yet it can feel like that, can it?
All right, at least as far as my situation, the inciting incident just kind of happened. Everything else after that, sure, we had a hand in. But you're right, it can feel like that.
Indeed. Yes, he sort of... do the three Psyods have their Psycloaks up?
Absolutely.
Okay. He says, yes. He does look. He looks over the three of you and does look to Mycelium because, like, yes, I understand that is all. It can seem very random, but from a certain perspective, randomness is much less of a factor than you might know. And then he does look over to Frankie and says, I think you might be aware of just how little randomness has to play in luck, though.
I mean, if you're talking about what happened, then yeah, that one I did have a hand in.
I think you're going to find that as you come into more understanding and awareness of what it is you can do, you're going to find your life very interesting. Do not get so confident in your ability to control things that you do not lose sight of the fact that sometimes karma kicks back. But
I-
anyway, I actually know surprisingly little about your condition and your status. It's one of my biggest blind spots. It evades even my sight. What I know mundanely, and mostly through the Aeon Trinity. They're the ones who understand talents, I believe they call them, the most. They have over almost 2 centuries of experience with it. Anyway, I certainly have some things that I need to discuss with you, but this is a rare opportunity. If you have questions, I would be honored to answer them.
Look over to Frankie. So, her aside, I point to me and Bram, like, so you do know about people like us, though? Like, that's a thing that's kind of been around?
Yes, it's been around. It was rare, but it has become more possible in recent decades.
Hmm.
Of course,
So why is it being denied?
mainly for the protection of those who come into such power. During the Aberrant War, certain members of society, both powered and not, did become aware of Syads, and many governments and other institutions did some very bad things to the Scions that Syads that they could get their hands on, as a method of fighting back against the Novas and Aberrants that they had made enemies of. And Aeon, who has been the thread of continuity in all of this, has decided to try and keep that knowledge contained as best they could, because they don't want to see such things happen. Normally, well, they don't get all of them, but they do eventually try and find the way to make contact with Syads, offer them safe harbor, training, community with their fellow kind, and secrecy. But that is them.
Whole lot of sus over here.
This is,
Just,
Yeah.
just if you
uh,
couldn't tell.
Yeah, how does the ISRA fit into all that?
Aeon is a great partner in a great many things. They, as I said, they are a thread of continuity through many eras of turmoil and possibility. And as best we can tell, the Syads that they bring under their umbrella, I won't say they don't come to any harm, but they do not. They are protected from people who would take advantage of them. What harm they come into is of their own choice by working with Aeon and pushing forward their general agenda of hope, sacrifice, and unity. But there are plenty out in the world that I can tell. Some of them come into our sphere of influence, and of course, those members of the school that are aware of such things do our best to guide them in the right direction, either in our own order or towards Aeon or wherever it may be most proper and harmonious for them to be directed.
Hmm.
Anything else?
I mean, well, Mr. Herzog, I'm kind of at a loss here, honestly, about what to do next. What happens next?
That's a very good question. So, here's the pickle. When we have this particular version of this particular conversation, you have already gone down a road that you can't come back from. Decisions have been made that have blocked off certain avenues of possibility that you may regret having blocked. And you did so because you didn't know. You didn't know that you were making big choices that had bigger consequences. So I'm trying to find a way to make sure that before that decision is reached in the now, that you have everything, that you do not make a choice out of ignorance. I
Sounds
understand
good.
that does not make much sense. It will make more sense as we go on. So, to cut to the quick of it, he kind of says, he turns and says, Cillian, you've been quiet. Have you?
I have.
Have you no questions, no concerns about all of this?
Plenty of both, but nothing that I think I want to share at this point.
Fair enough.
I mean, we just met, so it's, you know.
Indeed. Well, from your perspective, yes, that is true. We have met dozens of times in various permutations.
Well,
But
unfortunately, my perspective is all I have to go on at the moment.
it will widen as time goes on. What about you, Abraham?
Oh my God, it's short for Abraham?
You didn't know that?
I guess not.
Yeah, Bram. I was named after an author. What?
All right. Sorry,
Wow.
sorry.
Wow.
The guy who wrote the Dracula novel?
Yes. My mom likes literature. What can I say? Mr. Herzog, pleasure to make your acquaintance. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as them. I feel like I got 1,000 questions, and like none of them really like seem important now. Or if they are, then like I kind of don't want to know what the answer is to them, because then that might change how I feel about them or the outcome that I want. So, you know,
In my experience, those sorts of anxieties play out less often than you may think. Knowledge of the future does not, it doesn't change things so drastically that things cannot shape around it in such a way that you end up worse off than where you were. But anyway, as I said, I understand that. I just know that should circumstances change as a result of what may come next, then it will be much longer before we have our first meeting. And that I don't want you to lose out on an opportunity.
can you give us any sort of idea about what we need to look out for? Like, what is a inflection point we need to be careful of?
That is exactly what I'd like to talk to you about, actually.
I'm interested in hearing about this opportunity.
Yes, well, it's a tantalizing thing, but we should go in sequence. Yes, you see, from what I can tell, the inflection point comes when you released the data that you found in that Aeon safe house. From that point on, you have more eyes on you. You have less freedom to respond to things that are going to happen in a way that facilitates, and here's what I have to be honest here, things that I do not entirely understand myself. I know that if you continue to live in the underground without the attention of the Aeon Trinity or the world media as that information begins to spread, other psi orders, particularly the Norsa, as that begins to spread, you become more of a focal point, more eyes become on you, and you lose the opportunity to make even bigger changes. You lose the opportunity to learn things that even I can't teach you because I cannot see fully beyond that path. You will be able to open doors that I cannot for you. And all I know is that down that path is a change that is very unlikely, but incredibly beneficial for everyone.
So if we want to do that, we have to
Don't
stay
really-
underground.
For a time, yes. You will rocket into the spotlight, either way. It just happens later and on a greater wave of potential and possibility.
So I guess what you're saying is we need to sit on that data we recovered.
Yes. I can, if that is the path you choose to take, I can smooth things over with the Trinity. I can tamp down the fire that is already burning and give you the freedom and the leeway to react in a freer way, with less eyes on you, with less bonds on you to your action.
And what do you ask in exchange?
I ask nothing. Do not wish to compel any choice on you. My purpose here is to inform you and to give you the opportunity to make a different choice than the one that led you here.
If we do decide to go down that path, can we still rely on Isra in maybe a clandestine way as a place to learn, or are we just kind of back on our own?
At that time, before that inflection point, you have your relationship with Isra is a good one, even before all of this happens. And I think that you can rely on my school and my students as you could always rely on them. Just without the knowledge and attention that you have gathered at this point in time.
Okay.
Frankie, I understand you're incredibly suspicious about all of this. And I can see your paths much less than I can see the other three. I would appreciate knowing your mind on this.
on the choice that we have, whether or not to continue the path we've chosen?
Yes. You are, in many ways, the focal point of that path. You have the connections that can cause this information to spread like wildfire, which
I have released that information prior to this meeting.
so we come to it. Yes and no. It always is difficult when I have to come to this point in a conversation that's not actually happening.
I'm following you.
I understand that, but that is because my capacity to see and reflect the myriad of possibilities is such that the visions that I speak to are near perfect copies of the consciousnesses that exist in the now.
All right.
Oh God, I'm gonna disappear.
No, not entirely. I think in order to enable your informed choice, I will be able to use my modest telepathic skills to ensure that you remember all that has happened.
All right.
Although all that would have happened.
How do I put this? Don't take this the wrong way, Mice. Is the other mycelium okay?
Oh, he's fine. He's, well, in that time, they are at your apartment, whiling
Is
away.
the other Frankie okay?
Probably not.
Oh, you're speaking of that other Frankie, and another mycelium. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I have no capacity. They are within a different stream of the timeline and the continuum that I cannot access.
Okay.
I would imagine, given my familiarity with how these go, it's likely that the other mycelium is okay. I do not think the other Frankie.
I'm likely they're dead.
Likely.
Understood.
Let's not dwell on that too much. I
It's
mean,
best
we're
not to.
here. It's fine.
Anyway.
Is there a resource here? If we are to go back and not release this information, is there a source we can go to for help with understanding what we're doing? I understand they have this resource, but as you said, the only resource I have is Aeon, and I'm very hesitant to trust anything that they do.
There are other places out in the world. There are other factions and allegiances who employ talents, who understand a bit of what you can do and what you are capable of, but Aeon knows the most by far. Their knowledge and expertise is orders of magnitude beyond anything else. I am aware of talents simply because my powers are extremely capable. Other clairsentients have a vague idea of people with special destinies that are not psionic.
Just like she said, Frankie.
Yes. The other orders, I'm afraid, don't have the perspective that the ISRA does. They just see talented, lucky, skilled people. Many talents in the Norsa, I'm to understand, actually.
That's why if we release it, that's why they're going to be involved with it since we released it. If we release it, whichever.
No, not entirely. I don't think they. I know they have many talents. At least my interactions with them, I have felt many people with special destinies amongst them. No, that they would be involved for another reason entirely. The secrets that Miss K has been digging for lie close to some very, very closely kept secrets that actually do, if you trust my approximation of them, do need to remain quiet. Many good people's lives depend on those secrets being kept, and from what I understand, Miss K and her witnesses threaten that protection and secrecy.
We all are about. She just bluntly says we are all about exposing secrets.
And most of the time, I agree with you. But for reasons that I have a feeling you may come to understand more in the future, sometimes the light of truth just paints a target on people's backs.
Is that why they're trying to cover up that the Novas are reaching out?
That has far more to do with prejudice and fear, I believe.
Understood.
It won't stay for that particular bit of information will not stay hidden for much longer. I can promise you that.
Good.
I think we need them.
I think we do too.
That's kind of why we're here, yeah.
Because there's the whole thing with how Diane's gonna butcher this because Diane doesn't remember vaguely. The chroma?
The chromatics, yes.
Chromatics. How the chromatics got the use of teleportation so quickly. And the use of proxies and such. So I think that having more people who can interact on that level is going to be beneficial.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. We are under threat of multiple types, and to have powerful allies is useful.
Plus, on a less tactical scale, the idea of a bunch of humanity being under exiles, not exactly heartening.
From what I understand, they have flourished where they are. But that is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So if we are to change our initial meeting time, put it bluntly, would it be as if I had not released that information to the witnesses?
You will have yet to make that choice.
Understood.
Like I said, I do not wish to compel you or convince you or tell you what to do. My concern was that that at this point you would have made decisions in ignorance. And if we're going to have this meeting again very soon, I wish for you to have made those choices informed of the opportunities that you are losing by doing so.
By which you mean the opportunities for more freedom of our choices in the future if we keep quiet about.
Yes.
And I just point at Frankie. Paramorphs.
Among other things, yes. That information from that redoubt is sensitive for a number of reasons, and its release starts off a great many things that the horse gets out of the barn fairly quickly.
So wait.
Go ahead.
You're saying that if we wait, we can have an even bigger impact?
Yes, for reasons that I cannot clearly see or understand, but I feel them as massive.
Frankie, it's your angle. Hold on to it now, and then when you really got to stick it to whoever we got to stick it to, then you pull the trigger.
Well,
Huh?
that's the nice thing about sitting on it, right? We can always release it in the future if we think it prudent, or if we take enough time to think about it and decide it's still the right thing to do.
But if you, far-seeing old man, can't tell us where and when to release this, how will we know the proper moment? I mean, that seems like a tall order. How do you know we won't make the same mistake again?
We'll figure it out. We're smart.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and suggest that this guy might be smarter than all of us put together.
I don't know about smart. I have more temporal and prescient experience than all of you. I'll say that.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, something big will come to you or come within your sphere of influence. Something powerful and people like to give me an empathy roll. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
thank you.
Yay.
Come on, cunning.
Yeah. Mice and Bram, if you want to add your highest telepathy mode as enhancement, you can do that.
Very yes.
I get 1 success, and my highest telepathy mode is 1.
Okay.
Is this compromising information?
Yes.
Two
Wow.
with my specialty, plus my specialty.
Okay.
Nothing.
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 Add a momentum to the pool.
I got 4, unless spotting lies count or lies or lying counts, in which case it'd be 4 plus 1 enhancement.
Okay. So all of you pick up on just an irregularity with the way he's talking and his facial expression. Hannah, you can sort of feel with your your empathy and your clairsentience sort of feel like you see something affect him, something internal to himself affect him, and change his mind about something. Frankie, you feel when you read this, you're just reading it purely off of skill. There's something like wrong, like his speech, his facial expressions, like a sense of strain. You can tell, like something jars within him. Bram, you get the vaguest sense of some sort of telepathic thing happening. Like you just feel like a ripple across the mind layer. Micey don't pick up anything. And he says,
Did
"But
something just happen?" Oh, sorry.
He says, no, I was just letting my mind wander. Not worth talking about."
You should be careful.
Hmm.
Something just affected you.
Well, I feel many ripples across many different timelines. I'm sure something out there happened that made its way subconsciously. It's a thing that happens from time to time. But yes, no, I can't see what the shape of whatever this is that will cross your path, but it will empower you to use the information that you have, as well as what you stand to gain through interaction with whatever this is, to change things for the better in ways that even I can't imagine at the moment. I'll be happy to be surprised when it happens, I believe.
You're making a real good case for rolling those dice.
Things will happen either way. You have, if you choose to make the same choices that you have or will have made, then you will be within the purview of the ISRA. You'll be under our protection. I believe we can certainly smooth things with Aeon so that everyone is satisfied with the new status quo, and you can move forward in a perhaps more restrained pathway in your destiny. But the possibilities of remaining untethered when this entity, this event comes your way, that I can't see it, is very exciting to me, because the things that I can't see tend to be the most, they have the most potential for things going in wonderful directions, or absolutely catastrophic directions.
Well, I get the feeling our time here might be limited. I'd sure love to hear an example of the last time you couldn't see something and what it came out to be. That's not overreaching and that's not overstepping.
Well, might as well be forthright about it. This matter with the witnesses, these files that they've uncovered, particularly the one about process 418. I can't see anything about that. I've tried to uncover what it is that it's talking about. We have no such file. I'm going to make a roll for him real quick to put something together.
As
Making
Diane
a mental
goes
note
to
of
try to
that
figure
number.
out
Mhm.
418.
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
418. Why do I know that 418?
Because it was in your it's in Beyond Electric Dreams, now available on the Story Path Nexus, in the witnesses section.
Da-da-da.
Bit of first edition lore that I tried to bring
Mhm.
forth. He looks at Frankie, and he puts you can see like the gears tuning in. She's like you. She didn't. Those documents, those things that have caused so much trouble with the Norsa, this process 418, they're not from here.
They're from a different time, an alternate reality. They're okay. She was able to pull them, like I was able to pull mycelium.
But I think she may be confused. I don't think she knows that's what she's doing.
Oh, you're saying Miss K of the witnesses pulled some files from an alternate timeline by accident or unwittingly and is now entangled with some Norsa troubles?
I think that's fairly accurate. I think that what she has may be accurate enough to have caused a lot of concern, but not quite in line with how things transpired in our neck of the woods.
Interesting. So her information is off.
Yes,
Perhaps accurate
I
to its
do
own
hope
timeline.
I do hope I am able to remember this when things readjust. I have that problem every now and then. If I go deep enough down a possibility, I forget when I learned something or when I said something. It comes with the job, but that's very important. That might save a lot of trouble and bloodshed.
I mean,
Quick
I'll
question.
remind you when we meet again, I
You,
guess.
Yes?
you keep using all these verb tenses, and I'm just curious, when this meeting that I'm not 100% sure is actually happening ends, where will we find ourselves? What will be? Where will we be? Will we be us?
Let me guess. It will be before I picked up the telephone.
We can go back to that point, yes. Like I said, I think I can smooth that over if you still want
Oh,
it.
okay.
It's
I do
the
want my telephone.
yes. We can. I was imagining getting us as close to the inflection point as possible, which would probably be a little bit after that.
Though if you take me back before I got the telephone, I can open the other lockers before they notice.
That will, I believe, cause even more problems.
I think. I mean,
I
I'd kind of honestly prefer to not go back further than necessary because it scares me that we won't be the same people if stuff changes far enough back.
It's fair. It's fair. I just
I'm curious too, but
wanted to see what was in the lockers.
I mean, I'm already not myself, apparently, so let's go wild.
I'm just gonna, in my brain, I think what I did is I moved myself and I didn't move my ceiling. I think I moved myself to somewhere else. I think I switched places with my Frank.
She Hannah like tries to catch herself down. Just let her.
that is something that I don't entirely understand. You have more of a means to know what happened than any of us. Regardless, it's not really a matter of our time running out here. This is a thread of possibility that I have explored. It can go on as long as we wish it to. These things happen between seconds. I'm having 12 other conversations down different path lines. Time is not the pressure that you may think of, but if you wish to start the process now, we can do so.
So basically, right before Frankie sends that information to the witnesses, we will have the chance to decide not to. Is that what we're saying?
That, from your perspective, when your memories merge with your current selves, that will what it'll appear to be.
Understood.
So,
should we still come to the ISRA and explain what's going on?
No.
That will be up to you. I think the most important thing is preventing the wide release of what you found.
The reason I say that is, Aeon's still gonna have some questions for us, and I kind of would prefer to, well,
like I said, I can smooth that particular bit over with the phone and your incursion into their space. I will have the presence of mind to.
Oh, right. You'll of course know whether we come or not.
Make a few phone calls. Well, I'll know if things. I'll know. I will make sure to retain the presence of this current timeline in order to make a few phone calls.
All right.
So, shall we?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Certainly. We won't be parting ways just yet. He stands up and says, "If you will all follow me." And he opens the door and begins leading you down a hallway that quickly, it's like you're walking through a videotape of everything that has a great deal of the things that happened last game, but happening in reverse. And you guys are just sort of walking alongside yourselves with Herzog as the tape reverses. And it reaches the point when Frankie and Hannah are having the discussion about putting the information on Hannah's mini comp and setting it to release as soon as they got signal. So you are you are down in the the Artemis room all together before you guys split up, which is before you started poking brains, Mycelian, in the chair, by the way.
Yes.
In the chairs, and he says, and he's there with you, and you sort of see yourselves just frozen, but you can tell that time is just barely inching forward, and he manifests this sort of psychic etheric light, and says, I believe we should, yes, this is the best point to merge. Any last comments, questions before? As I said, I don't think this meeting will happen. Our first meeting will happen for quite some time if you decide to change things. All right, then.
Can we, whenever big happens, can we, how do we come to you for guidance if we need help with it? Because it sounds, we're just a band. We just play music. This is kind of out of scope for us.
We're a collective.
Well, yeah, I don't play any music. That help.
I
think
did not see anima culture bang. Well, I saw a bang coming, but I did not see what your generation has done with it coming. I did not see it on the horizon, and I think that what you and your fellows are doing for culture and art and the expression of truth is so powerful. Do not doubt the power of art and your power to change things with it. If you need help, the school is there.
Thanks. Well,
is there a code phrase we can use to get directly to you?
I think you'll know.
Yes. If you need my help, I will find a way to provide it.
Understood.
Feel free to come to one of our shows too. I mean, you might like it.
I think I would have to do so under disguise. My public appearances tend to require a lot of hubbub.
You might draw some attention.
Yeah.
And I
Sneak you in the back. It'll be fine.
Yes.
Our next one's a storybook.
Mm-hmm. He actually says, you know what? Hannah, do me a favor. Try and commit this to memory. And
right.
he proceeds to say a sort of string of characters and numbers, and says, try and input this as soon as possible into your mini comp. I believe that you'll find a particular item that has gone missing that might be very useful to you.
Yes. Hannah starts just kind of rehearsing the numbers over and over to do as soon as we're back in real time.
All right. Well, unless there's anything further.
I extend my hand to shake his, see if he will.
He says, when we meet.
Valens looks over at Bram and goes, we're still making out on the train.
Yeah,
In front of the old guy.
we are still making out on the train. Absolutely.
All right, then.
Priority.
In every timeline, you have always been making out on the train.
Indeed. Well, best of luck to you all, and may our first meeting be as pleasant as this one. And he sort of snaps his fingers, and we return to the present, and all four of you feel sort of a telepathic chill as you are beginning the process of transferring that information and setting up that automatic release, as all of the memories flood into you of this future timeline.
I immediately paused what I was doing with that and flip over to search that, to type in that number immediately before I lose it.
It corresponds to a like a maintenance tunnel somewhere on the other side of Luna. Like it's like it is a it's a location coordinate.
And just to clarify, at the moment that we went back to,
Mhm.
even if I hadn't started poking brains yet, was I already in the other room? Like, are we physically separate from each
No,
other?
you are
still?
not physically separate. You are basically having a last meeting before you guys split. Went your separate
Got it.
ways.
Okay.
Nala is outside, sort of letting you guys conduct your business, and sort of she is standing guard. So even though yes, you've yet to start poking brains in those chairs, but you still remember what would have happened if you did that. So we return to the present. All of that never happened.
All right.
That's
That,
Okay,
okay.
that was
still-
weird. I
Still
think
here.
not-
Still here.
Let's not send
was
this out
tricky.
just yet, Frankie. Let's we'll make some copies and keep
Yeah.
them safe for when the time's right.
Yeah.
And I'd start
That was weird.
make my own copies. All right, so that wasn't just me. I didn't know if that was a cuttlefish thing.
No, I just felt, yeah, it was like a day's worth of time just kind of like dumped into my head.
Yeah.
But it's not now, it's then. And we met Oath of fucking Heartsong?
Yeah, I think we did.
Does anybody
He
else
was a
feel like
cryptic
they're in a
bastard,
science
right?
experiment?
Yeah.
Always.
I guess that's just kind of his way. I mean, I can't really begin to imagine what it's like being the most powerful class sentient, but it's going to be a real mind blower.
I don't know. My mind feels pretty blown, even just from that. That was a lot.
At least I don't have
Nice.
to talk to my dad now.
Nice. Listen, you do enough drugs for like all of us, so that's
But
that's awesome. Just really kudos to you and whatever gland processes all of that. Just wow. My hat's off, man.
thank you much for the hat.
I mean, that's not really what it's like, but well, maybe for him. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through ego death. I can't even tell you how many times because there is no I after ego death. But that was like, I don't even know what to call that. It was trippy. It was outside of space and time, and therefore all possibility of human experience. It's
So
pretty
like,
groovy.
Well, that just made me dizzy.
Or as Otha
what are
Herzog
we
calls
gonna
it,
do now?
Tuesday.
What
So,
was that, Nigel?
I just what now? Like we have the data, but we
Yeah.
don't have the phone. You ain't gonna go poking brains.
Oh, I got the phone.
No, you have the phone.
That's
you
my
have the
phone.
phone.
That's my
Oh,
phone.
sorry.
I
think
stole
what he's
the
saying
phone.
is he's gonna
Fair and square.
smooth things over so we don't have to have that meeting, and or we do have to have it, but it won't be so bad. We probably should we not poke the brains?
I
I
don't
What
think
about the
poking the
brains?
brains did much
What if-
positive to us.
it
What do you mean
seemed
poking
to
the brain? What are you talking
Upset them.
about?
Wait, we don't know that. Yeah, unless you would
Yeah,
have told
what are you
us.
talking about? What?
I don't know.
poking
We
the
had time to
brains?
wait.
I poked a few brains.
I mean, did they like it?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
we did find out that they also didn't like being abandoned in some kind of virtual reality simulation for decades.
What? Wow,
those
no
guys.
joke. Seriously, did they think people would be happy with that?
I don't know, but I guess we have to take it up with their HR department if it even still exists.
It probably doesn't.
Probably not.
But what I
got
will
some
say
homework
is,
to
me
do.
talking about those proxies, I think that's linked to the other information. Because remember about the stuff from the facility? Those, I don't know if it was Larson, but someone went down to the other facility with other people. But
Yeah,
that's not related to that.
That was Zwiedler with 10 other guests of Zwiedler.
Which I think are the other proxies. Theory. conjecture. But what I know and what I don't know right now is very mixed.
Real quick,
You
sorry.
can tell.
I gotta let my dog out.
Sure,
So
yeah.
I'll get back. Sorry.
But I mean, if you want to, since you now know what will happen, it can guide your conversations with them.
It's
You can also
true.
get more information. You can also know how to guide your conversations with your fem robot friend, AI friend.
Chewy. I think. Right? Did I remember her name
Yeah,
correctly this
that-
time?
that-
Yep,
is her name.
Alright.
Chewy? Oh, okay.
That's her name in this
Sure.
timeline.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so I think I kind of covered when I posted them the first time. They were just like, this sucks. Let us out of here. But I was like, I'm just an intern, and then disconnected. So maybe this time I could just not poke them directly and find some other way to interface with whatever's going on in there.
That, or since you have the major information, you can look at how to get them out of there and not upset your fem friend.
Yeah, see,
Oh,
that's
God.
the. Yeah, I'd rather not upset her while she still retains the power to cut off our oxygen.
Speaking of oxygen, we do have another tunnel
Actually-
to go visit soon. We'll talk about that later.
Wait a minute. We have a copy of their contract.
We do.
Hannah, it is time to scour that contract for a loophole. And if we
Okay.
find a loophole, then you can poke their brains and tell them about the loophole, which they can then interact with the AI and get them to release.
I'm all for it. I don't think
That-
I need to poke their brains more today in order to do that.
Nah, I'd save it. But Hannah's the brain. Hannah can look at the document. I don't do that. I just get the information.
I could contact that professor again that I have.
I think that's probably the way to go. I'm not a law talking guy.
I mean,
The professor whose name I totally can't remember because it was several sessions ago.
It was quite a while ago. We'll have to review the notes.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look it over and try to find something. I mean, I'm really good at finding loopholes in the law
We can all
for
take a look.
other reasons.
Yeah. It seems pretty ironclad when we looked at it before. I mean, I just have
Yeah,
to
it
bust
did,
open the system.
but I might be able to do something about it. We can do it as an experiment.
I'd rather be running an experiment than being a subject in one, which is how I feel at the moment.
Well, if what I can do is make subtle things, maybe I can subtly change that.
I mean,
Don't know, but
you're a star.
I mean, I've always been a star, but I mean, you guys get to do cool mind shit. I should be able to do cool reality shit. That's how this works, right?
I don't really
Saw you do some.
I don't really know what cool mind shit is out there for me at the moment. So far I've made some lights and I feel like a cuttlefish. That's about it.
Currently, I am still coping with the fact that I am not a scion, and everyone around me gets to be one, but I'm dealing with it. I'm
You
dealing
can
with
pull
it.
things in from other realities and conjure things that never existed, apparently.
That's pretty cool.
Nala pokes her head in and says,
I mean, nothing.
"Are you guys done here? What's
Yeah, it's a good idea to not be here anymore.
What's the plan?"
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We can go.
All right. So we I think we should probably head separate ways. I'd like to get a copy of the data before we do. I mean, that's why we went down here, because they had stuff that we wanted to know too, right?
It's true.
Rapidly looking up technokinesis powers.
Frankie looks over at Hannah as this is your
Well-
contact, not mine.
It's true.
Like,
I have your.
we should
I
at
have your.
least
I,
like. Okay,
I have
can-
your Dropbox information. I will send you what I can. We still have to make it make sense because we were kind of just grabbed it in a hurry.
It's going to take forever to upload, too.
Yeah,
Out
gotta
of
collate a lot
character.
of stuff.
Out of character, what had we told her about the data that we recovered?
She was guarding us while we were doing it. I
yeah, you
believe.
haven't told her a lot. You guys don't know a lot about what you have. You guys have yet
We
to
haven't even
actually
read
look
it.
into the data yourselves.
Right.
The only thing that you guys have seen was the little bit of information that Frankie gleaned before she got her face blown off.
I
which
would
was-
like to try to, if I may, roll integrity to have done my delivery a little better than Murphy did.
Okay.
My character would have come up with might be better at lying than me.
Yeah, go ahead and
If it's
make an
integrity.
integrity roll.
We still have to unzip files.
It's going to take forever to convert them into a thing that will be useful to anyone. Oh dear.
We have
Are
some
you a
other
seven?
dice before you give that
Nope,
total.
I got one success.
Okay.
Yay.
All right.
Okay.
Plus my specialty in lies, so one success, one enhancement.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a roll for her. She puts her hand on her sidearm, and she says, "Are you trying to fuck me?"
I assure you no.
I want to see that data now.
She's already seen that we're Syads by now, right? Or in
She-
this
yeah, she
timeline,
knows
has
that
she
you
not
have-
seen it yet?
She
Um,
Valens holds up a finger, and she goes, "1, I suggest you take your hand off your gun.
I don't know what your friends can do.
2," she continues, completely ignoring that statement. 2, the reason why we're doing this right now is because you don't want to get up in the Aeon's butt. I'm pretty sure. If
Hey,
I'm waging a guess. And the reason why I bring that up is because just from the mere glance at what was on that before I got lightning bolted to my face, by the way, the mere existence of that information, what you're trying to learn right now, is going to paint the biggest target on your back. And the telephone that I just stole from them lets them know exactly who got it. So unless you want to be the complete target of Aeon with a beater tracker on you more than what you just know about the Nova thing, I suggest you leave this alone. And trust and believe when we release this information, because we will, you will be one of the first people who gets it before it goes worldwide. And I can make you that promise.
Make me a persuasion roll.
I would like to use 2 momentum.
Please
three.
do. How much do
Uh,
we have?
You have
5?
5 right now.
So I'll use 3 if you want me to use 3, but I was only
Yeah,
going
Go
to
for it. Go
right.
for it.
Go for it.
I
I
would
I don't want
also-
her following us home.
That's fair. I'm
I don't
going
want her shooting
to
us.
use my
Also that.
presence.
Is there any way that I can assist using my aim gunplay specialty as like I don't know, like showing her that even as I am, I've somehow got the drop on her if she wants to try and like start shit.
Yeah, give me a command roll
It's the old tuck the lapel back
that you can use your
persuasion roll.
gunplay specialty on to like maneuver your yeah, give me a dex command roll.
Okay. May I, given the wibbly wobbly nature of today's game, may I, instead of putting a dot into persuasion, shift the dot into command?
Yeah, you already had, that's what you did, right?
Clearly.
That's what had
Yeah,
happened.
That's just what I
In
did.
this timeline.
So that's 6 dice.
I will say that there is a 3-point complication on this roll.
All right. Well, I have
Right.
5 successes currently, plus my specialty in compromising information, which I assume applies.
Sure.
So I have 5 with an enhancement already, and plus whatever Nigel does.
2 successes
Okay.
plus my enhancement for my specialty.
Sure. All right. That is
So-
more than enough to overcome the difficulty and buy off the complication. She says, okay. Obviously, you guys have an angle on this. If we weren't, look, we weren't gonna just like release it out into the wild. When you guys look at the information, and if you think the stuff on Novas isn't gonna blow up the world, if more than you know it, we'd like that information as soon as possible.
Understood. From what I saw, I didn't see Novas, right? That wasn't what.
That you saw a fraction of what you
Yeah.
have.
She goes, if there's stuff about Novas that isn't going to blow up the world, then I will happily tell you what that is. But from what I saw before I got my face blown off, there wasn't anything about Novas.
Well, you guys were scanning like hundreds of pages, so
Indeed.
Yes. That's why I said I will more than happy to tell you what they are about Novas if I know it's
We
not
really
gonna
do
blow
have
up
to
the
go
world.
through it, and yeah, I think we'll be able to assess
all
And I
right.
mean it.
if
Once
we find.
release it, you will be one of the first people who gets it.
We'd like the Nova
I mean-
stuff before you guys do anything. We'll
Understood.
I think that's fair.
We can do that.
I mean, we'll stay in touch. We have you know how to contact us, and
okay.
we will keep you apprised of further developments as well. I mean,
Also,
I'm
when
sorry
you're
this is
ready
cryptic.
to go worldwide with what you have, let me know. I can put you in contact with people who can get it done
Okay.
when
Yeah.
you're ready.
All right. I think we should get out of here. I want to get
Yeah.
out of here.
Oh yeah, no, totally. The Aeon's coming.
Yeah.
I really did steal their phone.
I can.
I point
Yeah.
to her weird phone.
I went to my weird ass relic.
She's like, that's a phone?
Yeah, what the fuck is that? She's like, okay, all right. So yeah, she heads out. She heads out and starts heading over to the
Tram.
tram terminal.
Should we destroy that machine or whatever to make sure that that stuff doesn't get released without us being the ones that released it? Because
No,
the other person knows about it. All right,
it was specifically us.
it was specifically us doing it. You're right.
Because what's going to happen is Aeon already knows that place was breached. So what's going to happen is they're going to come cleanse it.
Yeah, they'll take care of that anyway, I guess.
And they're on the way, so we should go.
Yeah, we should go.
You don't think they'll cleanse the whole, like, the people
this
in the
is
other
too
room?
far. No, this is
I
hope
too
not.
far removed. And if they
Yeah,
do,
that
maybe
would
they'll
be-
take care of the problem for us and release them.
I'm gonna send a text to Chewie and just be like, hey, maybe just turn the porch lights off, you know.
He's like, "No,
After we leave.
I keep things pretty contained when you guys aren't here.
Okay.
choice.
She says, everything's fine here. They're all quiet and doing their jobs. No, thank you. Oh, that's right. You guys.
Yeah, because we were actually separate when.
Yeah, you were
we
separate, and you also did
Yeah,
some
yeah.
maintenance.
That's
So we can say that with the 4 of you, that maintenance gets done even quicker.
Excellent.
excellent.
And she's like, "Thank you."
I'm
thank
not
you.
touching that.
Yeah, you guys get it done. It's all pretty mundane, electrical work, and yeah, it gets up and running. So she thanks you and says, "Yeah, they're all doing just fine. Everything's good. Thank you so much.
Anytime. I'll check back in a few days just to make sure.
Thank you. I do love our conversations." And she's like,
By the way-
she's like materialized herself.
Mycelion, you would know Valens has been increasing her knowledge on like technology, and you can tell because she's now can like actually understand what you're telling her to do, and she's actually like, no, I'm not touching that. Like, it's clear
No,
she
that's the fun wiring.
you're not gonna. Yeah, I remember from last time. You're not doing that again. I'm watching you.
Please don't. Yeah, I'm a little tapped out, so don't get
All right.
again.
Hey, Bram, come here for a minute.
Yeah, what do you need?
Just hold that capacitor for me, will you?
Don't do that.
Like,
Bad
It's
idea.
fine.
If you feel a little tingle, it's all right.
I'll let you know.
Maintenance montage.
Yeah, it's maintenance montage. Yeah, so you guys get that done. Another tram shows up when you guys are ready to go. Anything else you guys are doing down here before you leave the underground?
No, not unless you
I
want
have something I want to do, but I
trains.
feel like it's going to take time, so I'll save it for next time.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you guys get on the tram, heading up. Where are you guys headed? Getting back to the crash pad, or what's the destination?
We got a show to plan.
Yeah, we should go to the crash.
Why don't we head to our? I was actually going to suggest to our space, since we might still be. I know he said he was smoothing things over, but we might still be having a meeting. Not sure.
You mean like they don't already know where our house is?
I just don't want to meet them there. It's our house.
All right, that's fair. Let's go to our
space. Our space is a public space.
Yeah, let's go to our
Also,
art space.
Cameras.
Yeah, you guys head to your art space. Your team, headed by Narwhal, is getting things set up according to your specifications. And yeah, it is you're transforming the space from like dance club to more like art installation, art exhibit gallery, with interactive displays and everything. Everything's going along pretty well. You guys meet shortly after you guys meet up there. You are approached by someone that the three of you don't recognize, but Bram, you do recognize. She is a woman by the name of Mercy. She was someone in the Vikings on a parallel tier to you, Bram. This is so you are all Wonderroot, yes?
Yeah.
So they say.
I'm she nods over to Bram. Says like, I'm his replacement.
Hi, how you doing?
Shit.
But we already have a Bram.
Out of play, is this my contact, Mercy Malone?
No.
Okay.
Do we still have
shit.
access to space?
I'll come up with another name. This is Patience.
She could be Ruth, like
Confusing.
ruthlessness, instead
no.
of Mercy.
Like, no, I'm Patience. I'll be your liaison with the Vikings and security detail here. So I have a cursory understanding of what's going on here, but it looks like you guys are going to have less needs for this particular go around. Seems a bit more of a sedate affair.
You want me to show you around? I can pass on my notes to you.
She does not look directly at you and just sort of does not respond to what you said.
Yeah. I think this probably will be a more sedate affair than last time, a little, but.
Are we gonna have a
Gotta
problem?
trust your judgment as our security liaison.
I don't know, are we?
I don't know. I'm asking because currently you're ignoring a member of our group.
I think
Frankie, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
no. We should get this out.
We need to have we need it out in the open.
If we're gonna have this is a sticking point with you, I will just say I think hopefully Bram would agree that a degree of detachment and non-interaction is the most politic and safe way for me to do my job here.
I just whisper over to Frankie. We should respect their customs.
There doesn't have to be a problem here. And the best way of maintaining that status is if Bram and I give each other a healthy amount of distance.
I just wanted out in the open about it. That's all.
Well, there it is.
She looks over at Bram, looks over at, now I want to call her Ruth, looks over at Patience, and she was like, looks between the two for a moment and then just shakes her head.
Yeah, she's like just doggedly looking at you, not sparing any attention to Bram.
Patience, Hannah, by the way, why don't I take you on a tour and let them work, and we can kind of discuss the security needs. It's kind of, logistics is more kind of my thing anyway.
Absolutely, that would be my pleasure. And
See
she
you guys in a bit.
joins you on a tour.
Charming, isn't she?
She's just doing a job. Yeah.
I understand, but it's going to be.
That's-
I
it's
can't
my
have that kind of
fault.
tension.
I should have known better. I did know better. I was just trying to be friendly. Yeah, it's okay.
Look,
Yeah, I
Well,
take a
like
look.
You're a part
you
of
were
this
our
team.
security. Yeah,
So you
Yeah,
have
you were our security, and you weren't aloof.
and
She's
it's
so
not,
aloof.
It's not. She's not being aloof to you, Mice. She doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah,
I'm no
but
longer a part of the Vikings, so you still have a deal with the Vikings. I am no longer your security detail.
No.
yeah, but you're
Sorry.
part of Wonder Root, and that's
Be that
You
as
know.
it may, they want to protect their investment, and so they will have someone else here. I'm sure. I've worked with her before. She's out of play. What is she like?
She is a very cold professional.
She'll get the job done. You know.
Look, that's not what
I-
the problem was. The reason why I'm asking if we're going to have a problem is because you are a part of this band. You are a part of this collective, which means you are now a part of the people that they are protecting. And if they're going to have a problem with that, we're going to have a problem. That's my point.
I understand.
Because
It'll be okay.
the protection that we're paying for applies to all members of our collective. And if it doesn't, then that's a problem.
Then maybe you should tell her that and make sure that she understands what her responsibilities are.
Well, I'm pretty sure I just did. That's why I asked if we were going to have a problem.
I have no reason to doubt that she will not be professional towards me, and that
And that's
includes
all I ask.
that includes executing her duties as head of security.
Again, that's all I asked. I don't mind if she's cold and unprofessional or cold and professional. I mean, my dad has hitmen. I know what they're like. Like, that doesn't bother me. Like, I get it. They got a job to do. My problem is I just want to make sure that they understand that you are a part of their clients now. That's why I asked what I asked.
Well, to be honest, I didn't realize I was part of Wonder Root until y'all just started talking about it. So
I mean, yeah, you're my bodyguard, like my personal one.
I thought I was just your groupie.
No. You have a job.
Okay. I can do that.
So while
Hannah's
this
absolutely
conversation,
terrified of this woman.
yeah, while this conversation is happening, Mice, are you going to be doing anything down here, or are you just watching the fireworks?
No, if we're getting into show mode, Mice is going deep into their rig again and going programming crazy.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you can definitely spend some time getting things set up there.
Were you here when we did the storybook idea?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
They were a part of that.
It has been a minute.
It has been a hot minute. As you are interacting with the rigging, you begin to like your do you have you dropped your cycloak?
I have not.
Okay, then
So-
never mind. You just feel this like it's you feel that power like latent down under the cloak. It's there, but you have it well contained. But yeah, you get to work getting with the rigging and starting to set up the sort of the interactive holo displays. Yeah, so Hannah, you're walking through the site with Patience, and she is very, very efficient with like taking care of the security matters. Like saying okay, we'll need someone here for this. We'll need someone here for this. And then she says, "All right, okay, that's pretty good." Also, let's see. So there's not going to be a lot of people at one time.
More bespoke experience, yeah.
Right. So it's not going to be. It's not. There's. I have to look at this from our business business perspective as well. I think probably what the best way for us to get some advantage out of this is we'll be storing some stuff, and people will. Visitors to your exhibit will come by and need access to the backstage after their experience.
I'm sure that's none of my business. I will happily direct them there. Is there a passphrase or anything I should be on the lookout for?
She brings up her mini comp and she says, she says, use this, make this code available in your ticketing system. Obviously, don't advertise it, but they'll have it, and when they buy their tickets, it'll flag them.
Sounds good.
He says, my cousin's into this shit,
Have you ever come to one of these shows?
Maybe some of the more clubby ones from time to time.
Yeah, this one, that's kind of what our last one was more like. This one's a little more artsy, fartsy, I guess, but I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, not my thing. Not my thing.
I mean, since you're our security detail, you're of course entitled to a +1.
I think I'll probably make that happen. He's all up on this sort of stuff. He's not in the business. But no, all right, I get it. Okay, anything else you want to go over? Anything? Any other business?
I don't think so. I mean, sorry about that little dust up back there. Frankie's just real protective of everybody, of all of us. Don't take it the wrong way.
I can respect it. I got nothing against Bram. He went out the right way.
I can't pretend I understand all the ins and outs of your business, but I feel I think we can trust everybody to be professional about all this.
That's my hope.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, I think we've got to head back. I've got a couple of guys here who will be watching out while you guys are setting up. And as soon as you guys get some dates, we'll have the major force showing up.
You want to? Great. We're probably going to have to do some trial run-throughs to make sure everything's smooth. You want to be involved in one of them? You're curious?
I think I'd rather just do the job.
Understood. Well, pleasure meeting you.
But I'll bring my cousin down for a run through when you guys are up and running.
Yeah. I look forward to meeting them.
I think you'll probably like him. But yeah, we'll have some shipments coming through, and like I said, we'll store them where you're not, in a place you're not using.
I assume you'll have folks to take care of moving everything and the logistics of all that.
Yeah, just when they show up, make sure your people don't interfere.
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully this is a new chapter in our relationship here, and it stays as smoothly as it went today.
Indeed. And I'll go back and join the others.
She comes out with you. And kind of just gives you all a once over. What are you two doing while Mice is in the rigging and they come out? Or are you just having that conversation?
Probably just having that conversation.
Okay. So yeah, she comes out and she says, all right, well, I've worked things out with Hannah here, and everything's going to be just fine.
Sounds great.
Forward to working with you.
Pleasure. And she makes her way out. And we are going to take a break. So we will be back here in this underground space when we do. See you later.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Welcome back to Simulacra Studios presents Trinity Continuum Aeon Luna Rocks. When last we left our punks on the moon, they had reacquainted themselves with their criminal security personnel and have been working diligently on getting their next show started. You guys are in a pretty good place as far as getting the show ready to go. You probably just need to do a tech rehearsal or two, and then you will be ready to start opening the doors. This is probably going to be it's going to be definitely going to be a less intense. Like, you're not going to have to do as much during a performance because it is sort of more of a self-guided tour where you guys are sort of more acting as guides than actively performing. So it's all set up to be a much more sedate experience. So what are you guys doing now that you've sort of come to this level of preparedness?
Well, I filled the others in on what we are, what they're up to, and just and which tickets to be flagged to look out to let into the back room.
Whatevs. That's fine.
I want to test this apparatus that I'm building.
Yeah, I figure
Or-
what we should do is probably take a little run through ourselves to make sure all the technical stuff is right. So, what you got there?
All right, so Mice opens their rig and is like type, setting things, flipping switches, adjusting things, and then says, "Okay, Hannah, give me a sentence. Just something simple, something ordinary. Like you were telling a story."
The coffee was sweeter than expected, but also more bitter.
So as Hannah starts talking, Mice starts like adjusting dials, and the hollow rig kind of comes to life and projects this image of a figure that is taking a drink of coffee, and the kind of superimposed with it are these psychedelic swirls that become like darker and angular and sort of disjointed as she goes from saying sweeter to bitter. So like those three words kind of trigger these images, or at least that's the goal.
Go ahead and make me a technology roll as you're sort of troubleshooting this.
Yeah. I was gonna say, does anything like artistic talent
Artistic talent will apply, yeah.
All right. Let's see. All right. All these guys. Is Frankie allowed to assist?
Yeah, sure. How would you be assisting with this?
Frankie actually has a pretty good command of technology these days, with her share of having to pick up where Narwhal and Mice had been while they had been busy.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of like over your shoulder, and she's like doing the nah, like this, like this. That no, you don't want to go there. That's gonna cause that to short circuit. What effect are you going for? Do you want it to be more like? Do you want it to be more ephemeral? Do you want it to be more like real? Like no, not that one.
Mice
Oh,
is
that's a
like, do
really
you
good
want to
idea.
drive? Do you want to drive?
Yeah,
Like-
that's pretty much what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say you'll get 2 enhancement for that.
All right. Awesome.
Frankie being bossy, like Frankie do.
So that's 4 successes, 3 or 4 enhancements?
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Or,
you're
yeah.
able. Yeah, you do some troubleshooting on the fly, and that you sort of interpreting that, feeding a couple more sentences into the system, Bram, what sentence would you feed into the system?
There once was a boy born with great luck who had one brown eye and one blue eye.
Type, 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 type.
Yeah, and that boy sort of comes into being. Psychedelic four-leaf clovers come into existence, and you guys see like the image of the eyes, like one's blue, one's brown. They switch. That imagery. What about Frankie? What image would Frankie feed into that system?
I'm trying to remember the quote. All we see or seem is but a dream within a dream.
Um,
I
yeah,
think the system might short circuit with
yeah,
that.
yeah. That is where you guys have to spend the majority of successes, because the
Yeah.
system kind of freaks out at that, because there's not a lot to grab onto. There's like images of sheep, like the closest it gets is like sheep jumping over a sleeping body, and like Z's, and like just colorful images. There's just, the system is having a hard time grasping onto that session, and that seems to be where you guys need to focus in on, like the really abstract stuff.
See, I'm helping by breaking your machinery.
Disaster testing, yes.
Mhm.
I'd also
I
just
mean-
like to point out that the roots for this were laid down before Midjourney and those AI art things started releasing the
that's-
automatic video generation, and that's like the
Uh,
same.
It is kind of like that, yeah.
Life imitates art.
Indeed. So what about mice? What would mice feed into it after this sort of like crisis is disaster averted?
All I see is stop it, Frankie.
Mhm.
Dad.
The forest grew thick with brambled roses. In less than a span of a day, the trees were 100 feet high.
Yeah, that is much more grabbable. There's much more imagery for that to grab onto, as like this forest path just seems to form, leading through the exhibit, until it like, and then like it there's some image doubling and perspective shifting as the trees get taller and taller and taller, like taller than the space that you're in could accommodate.
Mhm.
Like, so there's some sort of optical illusion that it's creating.
Mice is like, add bird. So,
Tweet, 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 tweet.
yeah.
So yeah, that it seems to be a pretty successful test run. You definitely need to try and get the kinks out of the more abstract functions before you're because who knows what the public will feed into this nonsense.
Yeah. And the real test is going to be doing it for like 50 people in a row telling entire stories, not just isolated sentences.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely need to have like a full-on stress test of it. But that you've gotten it up to that point. So what are you guys doing now?
Go hunt your locker down.
Yeah. You
Uh,
can see like Handel's already like starting to bring it up, like, "Hey guys," so and then you say that.
As you guys are like starting to think about that and like starting to plot out, Frankie, your phone, your actual phone, has a message on it.
Oh, look at it.
It is from your new contact, from Festus, and it says, it says, it essentially is like a scheduler app that pops up, that has a collection of places and times, as well as like options for you to put in some places and times. And it basically says this will this op will collate a mutually agreeable location for a brief meeting.
She kind of shows it over to her group and she goes, "Where y'all want to meet? We should at least give them 3 options."
I mean,
Is there a campus?
I mean, we
That's
could
a
do it at the Israel campus. That's fine. But I can be one of them. We can do the playground as another. It's in a neutral territory.
We could always do a totally different crater. Truly neutral ground.
We could go
Somewhere
at
you
the
all gotta hook
docks.
it. Ooh, that is nice and seedy.
Yeah. We shoot back an Israel meeting in the gardens, a meeting on the docks, and a meeting at this abandoned playground.
Okay. You feed that into the system. It briefly spits back. Basically, it accepts the abandoned playground, and then assigns a time, which is later on this evening.
All right, so we're gonna have to meet with them later on today. We can go do your thing if you want right now, Hannah, and see if we have enough time to drop whatever it is, which I think I know what it's going to be. Back off at the crash pad before we go up to the
try not to
playground.
get my hopes up, but yeah, if you think we got time, looking at how far away the crater, the locker is, or the
Do we have
coordinates
time?
are.
Yeah, it is in Olympus, but like it is in more of the it's actually closer to the Chinese sector than you guys are. So it's like a couple of domes over.
And then we'll.
Actually, I kind of would like to drop off by the house. There was some stuff I would have taken care of that I wouldn't mind taking care of before the meeting.
Okay, why don't we then plan to do that after the meeting?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so you guys heading up to the crash base?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just doing the same thing I did before, where I take the encrypted, basically put them on a small, like the smallest drive I can, and in my little hidey spot,
Mm-hmm.
and get them off of my device.
That is absolutely the
fine.
thing you can do. Yeah. Okay.
Probably doesn't matter much, but I do it.
Yeah. So are all of you going to the playground to meet up with this Thestis?
Are they expecting us all, or
Yeah,
just
what was
Frankie?
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
I didn't tell them about you guys if you guys don't want to come.
I don't
It's
wanna make you
unclear.
Go alone.
I'd kind of rather it just be you and me. That way, it's not exposing everybody, but you're not alone.
They're gonna know.
I know, but like
They're gonna know.
Yeah, and if we roll up 4 deep, then maybe they're gonna get nervous, and I just,
No, they're gonna know, Bram. They're gonna know.
I mean, I suspect the smoothing over phone calls have already happened.
Yes, it's a
So
brief
I don't
conversation.
feel terribly uncomfortable with this as I would have before, and I kind of want to know it. I kind of want to know what they have to say.
I just don't want them figuring out that I'm a cuttlefish.
Well, just make sure
I'll
you
say
have your
no one's-
cuttlefish shield up.
No one's been able to see it yet, I don't think, without us showing them on purpose. But
I
mean,
think
That
they're
old
gonna
personally-
be.
guy, I think he
pers-
knew.
he knew, and who knows
Yeah.
who else we might meet. If you don't want to come with, I think that's fine.
Also,
I
I
mean-
think they're gonna be more interested in what I am than what you guys are.
I think she's the secret they're keeping,
That's
so
true.
not us.
Because I interacted with the phone, and I'm pretty sure the only reason I was able to interact with the phone is because I am what I am.
Fair points. All right, I'm in.
All right.
Like always, I will be the distraction.
Okay. So you guys head up to the abandoned playground at the appointed time. And within moments, a hopper, which is essentially a sort of automated taxi, comes down and lands in the parking lot area of it. And a woman, probably in her 70s.
Okay, it's not our detective.
No, it's not. It's not her. She is a woman, very tall, very statuesque, sort of shoulder length, very, very well coiffed hair, gray hair. Comes out She has a cane. And a couple of people are flanking her, and she like swats them away as she starts to walk up towards the playground.
I let her come on. Frankie is dramatically draped over the abandoned merry-go-round and is like casually kicking her foot to make it spin.
Can I cold read her?
Absolutely.
All
Yep.
right. Just remembering how that works. Do I have to roll empathy to do it?
I believe, yeah, you do have to make an empathy roll for that.
All right.
That
May I also?
particular- Sure.
We'll try to figure something out.
Two successes. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, 3 successes for me.
Okay. What are you trying to determine about this woman?
The best way to not have her not attract even more attention from her, like to make it what would threaten her the least from us.
You think she is far more concerned about not like what you personally can do, but she has the look of someone who is playing 3 games of chess at all times, in the past, present, and future. She's as many steps ahead of whatever conflicts that she's in. So you think that she's far less concerned about the here and now than she is about the implications of what's happening. So the less that you can make it seem like you are, the narrower the scope of your own capability that you can project, the better with this woman. She thinks
if we present ourselves as punks that just stumbled onto something, that's better than a crack team of infiltration specialists.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to say something to that effect to Frank, just like murmur it to her as this woman is walking up. Just be like, "Don't overplay our hand."
What about Hannah? What do you want to know?
What is her professional motivation? Like, she seemed like somebody who's looking for a promotion or like dedicated to the job, whatever her job is. Like, I'm trying to clock her attitude towards what she's up to.
You don't sense a hint of ambition in this woman. This is a true believer.
Awesome.
There's no personal motivation in how she's projecting herself.
What's her security detail look like?
Sci-fi cops.
Okay.
Frankie continues to kick the ground.
I will say also, Hannah, I will give you an additional since you rolled well. Like she said, she looks like she's in her 70s. She looks well put together. You have no doubt that she could kill at least one of you without batting an eye.
All right.
Like she's like, this is a woman who's seen combat.
Mice is on the swings.
Mm-hmm. So she walks
Good
up.
believer capable of violence. Good to know.
Yeah. So Frankie's draped over the twirl-a-whirl. Mice is on the swings. Where's Bram?
If there's like a climbing dome, have you ever seen one of those?
Mm-hmm.
He'll be kind of sitting down on like one of the lower rungs as an impromptu seat.
Okay. And what about Hannah?
Sitting on a swing, messing with her minicomp.
Okay.
Pretending she is not paying attention.
Gotcha. So she comes up, sort of like plants her cane in the ground, leans on it, and she says, I just had the most interesting hollow meeting. You have some very interesting friends, it seems.
I mean, we're a band. It happens. We have bands.
She just sort of squints her eyes. She says, unless I'm given a reason to, I see no reason why you should be further entangled in this. I think the only matter that we need to talk about is the item.
The phone.
Yes.
It's a cool phone.
It is a cool phone. It's currently connected to our network.
Which is interesting because there's no cords.
Well, is it that interesting? I mean, anyway, regardless.
Well, I mean, if it's an antique model based on like old tech, then there should be a cord. But that's cool if it's like meant to look old school but isn't old school.
Frankie. Let the nice lady talk.
Sorry.
He says, yes, it's currently connected to the Aeon network. And she like pauses for a good long while, and she says, but the organization originally retrieved it from an organization of shadow. And when she says that, she's looking very intently at Frankie, like looking for any kind of reaction from you about that.
Frankie's just as surprised because Frankie has no idea what it was from.
and she reads that off of you, and she says, interesting.
What's shadow? What is that, like an acronym?
Nah, it means they send it some shady shit.
Yes. Frankie has the right of it. Interesting. Well, we would like it back, but given your friends in high places and the suggestion that we do not entangle you in further affairs, I'm not going to press it. I will merely say that if you choose to retain the item, we will disconnect it from our network. And then who knows where it might find a connection.
I lean down to Hannah, to Frankie, but kind of in a stage whisper. I'm like, we can probably ask for something for it. Just give it back to him.
I just text you guys. We should keep it and see if it connects to something interesting. I'm taking notes on my mini comp.
Just saying, we could always use the money.
I mean, I know we could use the money, but it's cool. Like, I know you don't like antiques, but I like antiques.
It's a piece of junk. Give them back their fucking phone.
But I like antiques.
We'll buy
if they
you
give you
another
money,
one with the money.
yeah.
Yeah. Just come on.
Well, that just sounds like a lot of extra steps to have a phone. As I look up,
We already have phones.
But it's an antique. Look, you don't find antiques in this good of condition, and it's bright red. Who doesn't like red?
It's the nice lady's antique, and she is.
It is not her
nice
antique.
I am now just watching her while they're having this discussion.
She is.
We're gonna have a messy domestic argument over this phone. What's about to happen?
Out of play. Well, this is entirely fake. Like, I'm just playing up like the stupid muscle.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Yeah, she's just watching him passively, and she says, "We got that a long time ago from some very dangerous people. We don't know if they're still around.
I mean, if they tangled with you guys, clearly they're not going to be around still.
She just kind of smiles at that. And she says, maybe ask your father about the signal. He might
That-
know.
Gets a reaction from Frankie, and she just pauses and she looks. She goes, "Dad? What would Dad know about that?"
Is the signal an acronym?
Not to my knowledge. They were active in the late 20 teens.
Mice starts doing like the Superman thing on the swings, like
Mhm.
lying down and being wee.
She says, but hard to keep track of. Things got a little crazy after that.
Huh.
But if anyone knows, it would be someone in the underworld.
Look, if it's something my old man knows about, that means I gotta ask. And he's gonna ask me why I know what I know, which means I want to hang on to it. Besides, it's gonna look great on my mantle.
Very well. I'm not going to push it, but like I said, we are going to disconnect it from our network. If it rings, I recommend not picking up. These people are, well, they were incredibly dangerous.
All right. Well, if it rings again, not being tethered to something, I mean, that's gonna be interesting, but we'll see.
If it rings, should Frankie like tell you?
After this conversation, I have no reason to involve myself in your affairs.
All right.
Sounds great.
Given the prompting that I just received. Very well. On your head be it. As I said, I don't recommend picking it up. You would be opening a can of worms. But your fate is your own. She kind of nods to all of you and says, try and keep your noses clean. And she heads back to her car.
Or white with powder, depending on your proclivities, but
Was that aimed at me?
Yeah, she completely ignores that comment, and gets in her hover car and speeds away.
Y'all, she used the word entangle like a bunch.
I know. Mice like stop swinging as soon as she leaves. Like, what
Yep.
was that all about?
by the way, Frankie, who did not know this was a play from Bram, turns and goes, "Of
Mm,
course I'm not gonna give up the phone. I stole that phone fair and square. That's my trophy."
Oh no, that was a thing. I was playing it up.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I would have been curious what they would have given for it, but money's kind of a preoccupation of mine the recent couple of days.
No, I got you.
Well, so now we have a magic phone.
Yeah, but now I want to know what the hell my dad. And how the hell does she know my dad? Like, I know
I
she
don't know, I
knows
think
about
she-
my Dace, but like, how the hell does
I
my
think she
dad know
wanted
about?
us to keep the phone, and that's why she made it sound so mysterious. And
So
appealing.
wait, okay, so for realsies though, what is the signal?
I don't know.
teens.
Hold up.
I've got
Frankie
well,
pulls
I've
out her
actually already
phone.
asked my I've already asked my agent to look for it while I was taking the notes.
Yeah, go
Hey.
ahead and if you guys are looking up that sort of thing, yeah,
Frankie's
go
not the
make
best. Culture?
humanities. This is much more history than anything else.
Do I have humanity?
Humanities, you can add your agents.
Can we all make this?
Yeah, you can make that. You can all make this.
Sure, I'll make an intellect roll.
And add
Mice went to college.
Yeah, add 2 enhancement for your agent's assistant.
Yeah. Frankie ain't got no humanities. What the hell's a college?
Yeah.
Where the hell are my dice?
1 success.
2 and 2 enhancement.
Okay.
I don't know where my dice are, so Frankie's not rolling right. Oh, there they are. Oh yeah, intellect. Don't fail me now. Oh shit. Oh, that one's on the floor. 1. I rolled an 8.
Bram, did you roll?
I don't really have anything. Like I have culture, but yeah, I'll do intellect culture. That's 6
You'll
dice.
get I'm going to give you an additional enhancement on this one.
Okay.
Just for reasons.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. 5d10. 1 success.
Okay. Hannah, you're looking basically for all the search through all the search terms of what you were locating, and the early 20th century. There's not a lot of information about it. Like there's sort of basic information, but a lot of like history, a good chunk of history, particularly leading up to the Aberrant or the Nova Age, there's a lot that got lost. So you're not hitting a lot of pings. What you do get is there's a sort of a reference to like and you're doing a lot of like context searches, and nothing comes up on like Shadow or the Signal in the context that obviously there's a lot of like junk and crap about that sort of thing, but like nothing's picking up from what you remember her talking about.
Yeah, because I'm probably like signal organization.
yeah,
Like I'm trying to narrow it down so
there's
I don't
that,
find a
but
bunch
like
of technical stuff.
nothing is pinging on the level of this must be what she's talking about. Like it's all very mundane. You do find a couple references to an old like global revolutionary organization called Le Revolte et la Cante.
Elegante?
Yeah, it's in the core book. Look it up. The- but they
How's
like
spell that?
they were like a global trade unionist, like socialist revolutionary organization that had its origins in Haiti, and got up to some revolutionary stuff back up until the dawn of the Nova Age, and then information about them gets lost. But you find sort of a single reference in regards to them about them. How to phrase this? There's like a bit of propaganda from one of their flyers or their releases about a great signal underrunning and fostering our great revolution. Bram, you remember Mal had a meeting with someone, a very brief meeting, and you walked in on it, and the person that they were meeting with looked to you, asked Mal, Twilight or Shadow, and Mal told you to get the fuck out. Like, it was such a random, like, thing that happened for 5 seconds that you forgot about until now.
Balance. Sorry, go ahead.
I relay that to the rest of the group. I replay that little memory.
Interesting. Frankie, who doesn't have good common sense half the time, decides to text her dad and goes, "Hey, Dad, what's the signal?"
And I have to show you all the flyer. I think cante means song or sing.
And he says, you get a response back. What are you taking, an electrical engineering course or something?
How did that lady phrase it exactly? Ask your father about
The
was it-
signal.
The signal, and she implied that they were a group or a move, something of people.
She kind of pauses and she goes,
And I just
Nah.
kind of hold up the flyer.
"Nah, like the signal, like capital T." From like, what was it? The late, what was it? 2000s?
20
that what it was?
teens.
20 teens?
The phone rings.
She picks up. She's pregnant. Hi,
Of
Dad.
course you do.
Not that phone.
No.
Oh, the other phone rings. And she pauses and looks at the phone. Well,
you
that worked.
gotta.
Frankie picks it up. Fuck it. Frankie don't care.
You hear a robotic sounding voice, like it's an automated thing. It says, "Communications node 478524 Alpha Ken reconnected. State location and business."
New phone, who dis?
It's silent for a little bit. And then your actual phone starts to ring.
She hangs up that phone and picks up her phone. Hello?
It's your father.
Hey, Dad. What's up?
What the fuck are you doing?
What?
Whatever it is. And I need you to listen to me, daughter.
All right.
Whatever it is that you are dealing with right now, drop it and get away from where you are.
I found a phone.
You hear him take a pause, take a breath. Do what I fucking tell you.
Okay. What's going on?
Are you leaving? Tell me that you're doing what I'm telling you.
Yeah. Like Frankie starts walking away from the phone.
Get on a tram. Get as far away from there as you can.
Okay, what is going on?
I'm not going to tell you anything over this connection.
Okay.
Get somewhere safe.
Okay. She okay, and she goes to hang up.
Scott, can I have turned on my my alertness for clairsentience?
Absolutely, you can.
Psychocognition. So basically, I would have done it as she picked up the phone.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let me just look at that.
I can see danger in the immediate future, or a small fragment of the.
There's a lot of
future.
danger in the immediate future.
Guys, we might should as I'm.
I feel like Frankie's
briskly
walking
away.
off.
Yeah, the following Frankie. Yeah.
Do you want the phone? What are we doing here?
What are we?
What's going on?
After all that with the phone, you're leaving the phone?
I think we have to leave the phone. My dad says that we should probably get away from that. Like
Oh,
now.
your
Something
dad
real
says
bad.
leave it.
Something
We
real
leave
bad,
it.
guys. Cuddlefish
All
gotta go.
right. Oh, okay.
I don't
Oh,
think-
Oh,
shit.
Okay. I didn't know it was a cuddlefish thing. Okay. All right.
I love that's our code word now. Cuddlefish, go.
Yep.
Cuddlefish.
It's a cuddlefish thing.
Yeah, then I'll.
Does it feel like the danger is locational? Like is it
As you
here?
as you
or is it
get away
us?
from the phone, it starts to the possibilities of danger start to dwindle.
Damn it, that was my phone. I just got that phone. Damn it.
Look,
Anyway, we have a meeting with my dad, so let's go talk to my dad.
What?
like business jerks, just meetings all day.
Yeah, and then we can go do your thing. But apparently, I just lost my phone. Apparently, I shouldn't have picked it up. That was my choice.
Sorry. Well,
To be fair,
hopefully-
that what's her name did specifically tell you not to pick it up if it rang.
I mean, that's true, but I'm real bad at doing what people tell me to do.
No, yeah, totally. I would have done the same. I totally get you, but you know, you gotta.
See?
Life is like water.
there-
You gotta let these things just, you know.
Are there any security camera feeds and maybe something the public could find of the park? as we're leaving?
Yeah, there's absolutely there's
Oh, I asked my agent to bring that up. I'm just keeping an eye on that while we're on the tram to wherever Frankie's leading us to,
Where's my damn phone? That was my phone.
or wherever we are. I assume we are power walking to a tram
yeah,
station.
you're power walking to a tram station.
And I'm like, I just want to see what happens, if anything.
Hold on, I'm doing a thing. Sorry.
Oh, she's doing a thing.
Mm,
Oh boy.
I'm showing that.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, just little thing there.
Oh, doomed.
Yeah, the public, like as you're watching the public feed, and like your agent brings up like, yeah, there's like not every like there like surveillance is pretty much everywhere in the future. But shit, sorry. Not all of it is publicly available. Like you can get public feeds from public spaces. As you guys are like getting onto the tram, that public feed cuts out.
That's not surprising.
I'm glad we're not there anymore. Feel sorry for whatever kids find that phone.
That phone probably.
Sorry,
won't be
Frankie.
there. I know.
I asked my agent to set an alert for news of any weirdness that happens in that area.
Hannah says absolutely. Like, yeah, your dad told you to just get the fuck away from it. Like, if you try and like set up a meeting with him, like you just sort of get an automated response of unavailable.
Leaving me hanging.
It's not very paternal.
Dad.
All right, I don't know if these ancient revolutionaries have anything to do with this, so
I don't know if that's what they have to do with it, but the fact is my dad knows something he's not telling me. Now
Maybe
I don't
it's
get
one
to know,
time.
and I don't get the phone. This is bullshit.
But you know what you do get? You get to be the central figure in the most amazing show that Luna has ever seen, which we're going to build and give to the people.
All right.
And
So
before
that's
that,
something.
a main character in a spooky horror story. Now, shall we go find this abandoned locker that I'm presuming is at this location?
Yeah. At least you get to keep your thing, hopefully.
Yeah. So, you guys make your way to that coordinates. It's a public storage area, adjacent to a tram line, essentially to a public transit line. It's just sort of it's an automated thing. There's like no attendants there, and it sort of leads you to sort of these rows of storage units, and you enter in sort of there's an underscore and then a shorter string of things that you are able to easily puzzle out as an access key code.
Excellent.
And when you do, you are confronted with it is like a bulky modern in terms of like us real people playing this game, modern keyboard style thing. but it is slick and has sort of a bioorganic carapace surrounding it. It has like inputs where you put your hand into it, like your fingers into it, and sort of yeah. And this is this living piece of technology that is wrapped in biochitin protective casing. And it seems to be just sort of waiting on a shelf for you.
Was I right?
I mean, I looked them up before if it is a bang board, but either way, I immediately go ahead and I have no reason not to trust that very old, very powerful man. So I put my fingers on the depressions for it and try to see if I
You
can
put your
interface
fingers
with this
in.
strange thing.
Yeah. You do. And it seems to be like you start to feel the connection to it as you start to interface with it. You feel your own psionic, noetic connection start to meld with it. A little display comes up on it and says, "New user detected. Would you like to attune to the device?"
Yeah.
I say, don't say new phone who dis. That
I
was
just
a
already-
bad choice.
I already said yes.
It says, please keep fingers in inputs. Prepare for blood sample. And there's this barely imperceptible finger prick in all of your fingers as a bit of blood is taken, and you begin to feel. You've never, to my knowledge, do you have a biocomp, a mini comp? Like, do you have any bio?
I have a biocomp.
Yeah.
I did take a long time. I did take the edge of increased tolerance.
Okay,
So,
cool.
but I don't know if it'll matter for this.
So this is a tolerance 3 bio app.
What is? I don't
So
actually
your
know how to know
tolerance,
my,
normally your tolerance is your psi plus your stamina.
perfect.
And I believe increased tolerance gives you even more than that. So you should have a
Yes.
decent amount.
I have enough for this. Yes.
Yeah.
My stamina's not very high, but with the that's enough to cover it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is very similar to having a tune to your biocomp, but it feels bigger. It feels like there's more juice flowing through it. You feel a stronger connection. Like you feel a portion of your own noetic reserves flow into it and then flow back out, and then it begins to power on more and more as little connection points start to blossom open like flowers, leaving places where you could plug in like a hollow projector or a sound system, like all sorts of little different inputs and what start to open up on it.
Mice, we gotta go mess with this thing.
Mice's eyes are just like, yeah.
Neat.
Frankie's sulking against the wall.
Sorry, Frankie. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is way better than a spooky ghost phone,
Hey now, that was my spooky ghost phone.
which makes it a very good spooky ghost phone. I'm not disputing that.
It was my phone. That was my
tried
phone. It was the weird thing that was attuned to me. It was mine.
I understand.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So where are you guys headed?
Probably back to the crash space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys head back to the crash base. I assume you guys don't have like a full rig up here, but you have like Mice's like prototypes, and you guys got a sound system, and you got like a TV, like a hollow projector TV. So like you can start cooking those things up to sort of rudimentary technology. If that's something.
The junk box.
Yeah, the junk
Just
box.
Absolutely.
pull things out of the junk box. See what works.
I'm only a little distracted by my friend being sad. This thing is very neat.
Frankie's not so much sad, just miffed. Frankie decides to let the Scions play with their new toy and is gonna go read the data. That's what she's
Okay.
gonna go.
All right. Noted. So yeah, you what's Bram up to then?
You're muted.
That's a good question.
There you go.
I think he's going to try and meditate kind of on what's happened in the last
Okay.
day or so, and just try to like center himself and let his cloak down a little, and just kind of let his senses expand out into the room as he tries to process and sort everything that's happened.
Okay. Noted. Yeah, so you guys so the two of you guys are totally like geeking out on this thing. And I'm assuming you guys are like putting together a mini Muzzian show.
Yeah, we're just trying it out. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, I will get back to you. While you guys are it takes a lot of time getting used to it and like calibrating it for the equipment that you're connecting it to, and like as you're like
come with a manual. So
yeah, it does it is its own manual. You're you're intuiting a lot, and it gives you a lot of feedback for things. And it is like you're very like it's very cool. It's very excited, but like sort of intuitively, you need to get into a very different mindset to actually use this thing. Like you need to like bring your clairsentience up to let this thing really sing. So Frankie, you are reading the document, and there's a lot to it. It seems to be split up into 3 major sections. There is a section that deals with something called it's under the heading of Project Tantalus, and there's another section under the heading of Project Pandora. And as you're looking at it, these things seem to be dealing with what they call syads and talents. Tantalus seems to be the organization under Aeon that is in charge of researching and working directly with talents about their talentness. And Pandora seems to be about psi users.
Okay, what's the third one?
The third one, give me a second. I have to look up what it is nowadays. There's a couple of mentions. It doesn't have a name.
Okay.
In this document, it's a couple of times it references Project Utopia, but in a term of like that is a mothballed term.
Gotcha.
Like we are in the. They mentioned a couple of times like we know that this is going to get renamed soon, and reclassified. But they used Project Utopia as a placeholder name for it.
Okay, so this is the Nova section.
It absolutely is the Nova section. It is talking about specifically. It's talking about exomorphs. Like the terms that they use in this document are exomorphs for quantum users. And they classify that in a few different ways. Drawing distinctions between novas, lowercase aberrants. Like they make it very there's a couple instances of uppercase aberrants, but that seems to refer to something like more like a political movement than a type of being. And there you find a few references to something called stalwarts. That seem to be really old and not very well detailed out.
Okay. She kind of like
the section under Project Pandora talks about psychomorphs, and the project under Tantalus talks about paramorphs, and sort of the technical terminology of it.
She's gonna focus on paramorphs first because apparently she figures out that's what she is. So she's like, I know bad information about most of these. Let's find out the real information about me. That's where she's going to focus her.
All right. So I've given you sort of the surface level stuff of this.
Right.
I need a humanities roll if you want to dig in deeper. as you're sort of, because it's written in very like technical academic terminology.
Gotcha. As Frankie's like, or as Diane realizes, I'm going to have to buy humanities soon. Frankie's
And you can pull mice away for a minute to help out if you want.
mice. What's this word?
Now,
Can't Google it.
You can get 2 enhancement for that. For Mice's
Amazing.
help.
1 with 2 enhancements, so 3.
So yeah, you look into this document and you get a pretty. It's frustratingly vague in a lot of places, because the majority of the document details out like why it's so difficult, or that it is very difficult to make a confirmed case of someone being a talent or a paramorph, because it seems that the line between someone who is really, really skilled and or really, really lucky and a talent is thin enough to be sometimes unindistinguishable. It is very hard to detect when a talent is doing flux stuff, which is like kind of it's not the term they use, but it's the term that you kind of rationalize.
What she calls it.
Like you recall back that definition of flux being the energies that are produced by and manipulatable by when universes come close to one another and start to overlap. And that talents, verifiable talents, either subconsciously can manipulate that or take advantage of that energy and those closenesses of universes to increase the favorable outcomes for themselves. And where it really starts to talk about the more definable stuff is when what they classify as true paramorphs, being talents who can consciously, actively manipulate the convergences of universes. And that is where, like, it's kind of like a spectrum, where on one end you have someone who's just really, really good at what they do, but what they do is completely explainable by the fact that they're just as good as they are. And on the other end, you have paramorphs who can consciously pick and choose, swap between realities. And you reach a point in the document where you find it's an entry on what they call paramorph 0. But the rest of that section has been like digitally blacked out.
Is there? So, Frankie, thinking back on the secrecy that's in this document, and also kind of the strangeness that comes with being a paramorph, Frankie wants to see if there's a coded message.
Give me an Enigmas roll, and while you're doing that, we will move on to Bram for a moment.
I would like to use at least 1 momentum, if that's okay, guys.
How much did you use last time?
I used
we
3.
have 1 left.
Oh, so we have 1 left? Okay, yeah.
So we had
Awesome.
5. So after,
Because I'm really good at enigmas, so that works out.
Okay. But yeah, while you're taking care of that, we'll move on to Bram. Give me a Psi plus Integrity roll.
Okay. Integrity 2, Psi 2, 4 dice. 4. And that's a botch.
excuse me.
No problem.
Thank you.
You get lost in the physicality of everything. Like almost on like a almost on an MDMA level of like you are like extending your senses and just you become almost insensate in the overwhelming physical presence of the things that you can touch without touching.
That's what Mice calls Tuesday.
It is not unpleasant, but you are it is very similar to a very intense drug experience, but it's very physical in nature. But it kind of knocks you on your ass and makes you a little useless for a couple moments.
Cool. No, I will be drifting for like the scene. I'll just be like,
But Mice and Hannah, you've got everything hooked up. It's like you're using a fraction of the capacity that this thing can do. But you have everything hooked up. You've got hollow hooked up, sound hooked up, OpNet connection hooked up. This thing is ready to go.
All right. I think I need to get in the right groove, Mice. Give me a moment. Scott, I do not remember I was looking for my notes,
Yeah,
the
hold on.
name of that technique, but I
Let
was
me
going to try
let me
to
look that
do
up real quick.
Yes, thank you.
Which technique?
It's a clairsentience thing where you can kind of see the flows around you, like kind of like you'd see water currents, and kind of open yourself up to it.
Dicker is the thing.
What was it? Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, you also hold on. So yeah, go ahead and give me a you also give me a psi plus integrity roll. Well, okay. First of all, this is predicated on you asking a question of the universe, by which I determine the difficulty. What intention or question are you putting out to the totality?
Trying to think of what question. Actually, hey, Mice, give me a question to ask the universe that'll help us make something with this. You're good at that kind of thing.
See, like the first thing that popped into my head is what's the answer to life, the universe, and everything. But
no way, man. Don't have drug thoughts at me right now.
All right. How about what should I have for dinner tonight? Is it even night? I'm not even sure.
I am going to ask it. I'm going to actually. My question will be actually just very simply like how do I actually translate my experiences with this board? Like it's kind of very very concrete question.
Okay.
Yeah, practical. All right, Hannah, I get it. Practicality. It's that's.
Hannah gave you a very I am very disappointed in you look when you said the life, the universe, and everything.
Nice. Okay. 3. Yeah. Go ahead and make that psi plus integrity roll.
Yep, got 3.
3 successes. Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
You begin to see. Once again, it comes back to water. It comes back to that core moment of when your psionic senses awoken and you're in the darkness in the water, allowing the current to move you back and forth. And you look up and you see another watery surface above you, in which is reflected yourself and the water below you. And you see in that reflection, which then gets reflected back, looping, yourself in the reflection, dunking their head in to the water as swirls of color and beauty start to emanate out and begin to join the looped reflection. Then you slide in up to your chest, and the colors and the patterns get even more beautiful and intense. And then you just slide entirely under the water. And there is just an explosion of intense, beautiful, profound imagery as the water begins to rain down on the faceless masses of your audience. And
Oh, sorry.
as you are having this experience, Frankie, as you are trying to figure out that pattern, the TV starts to reflect this image out to all of you. The sounds of calm waters start to project over the sound system. It begins to bring in images from the OpNet, kind of like an AI generations to supplement this, and a very small but very beautiful Muzzy and Bang experience begins to play in front of all of you. And it is pretty wild. Bram, holy shit. It's fairly brief, but
Yep.
you all sort of like are able through this piece of equipment to share in what Hannah sees in a outward expression from her into it and out into the technology that you have here.
Yeah, it's kind of very right until like let it kind of like the currents kind of run out and the water just sort of recede on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of give it a gentle come down, and I'm like, I think it'll work better with more possibilities and more people.
That was
Pretty-
pretty nice though. I feel like
That's pretty fun.
Actually, Bram, as this sort of fades out and recedes, you find yourself more centered and more capable of interacting with people and things. Like your head starts to clear up. Frankie, what was the result of your Enigmas roll? You're muted.
oh, you're muted.
Sorry.
4? Okay, and I will give you 3 enhancement for the effects of the Muzzy and Bang.
Mhm.
So you're trying finding a coded pattern in this, and you do find a coded pattern in it. What you find is a
Coordinates?
yeah, it is coordinates, but I'm trying to describe it because it's very specific. It's coordinates, but it doesn't map to like the lunar thing or even anything on Earth sort of system. Like it's not a GPS coordinate, it's not a map coordinate. So like you're like trying to like desperately figure it out. Like as the experience is going on, you're like plugging it into various different like things, and you realize that it is pointing to something in the rings of Saturn. Like
Fuck am I supposed to get to
like an
Saturn?
orbital location in this like in the rings of Saturn.
That's literally what Frankie says. How the fuck am I supposed to get to Saturn? That is literally what she says out loud.
What?
It's just,
What?
okay, hold on.
Oh, you find something? Sorry. Oh. Sorry, that was probably
Yeah, so
distracting.
we got
Sorry
caught
about
up
that.
in this other thing going on.
Can I use connecting the dots? Spend one of my oh goodness, what do you call
Inspiration?
it? Inspiration, to see if yes, it's pointing to the rings of Saturn, but is that in and of itself another code? Because Frankie's a crazy ass conspiracy theorist. So is this actually pointing to the ring, a literal geolocation for the rings of Saturn, or is that a metaphor?
Using connecting the dots, and like digging into the to the like the layers of where you found the pattern, you think that it literally means a place in the rings of Saturn. And like you find like connection points within the data that lead to that blacked out section about Paramorph Zero. And you
We're gonna
think
get
like
this.
you think that it mean like what it with like the sort of the location data and like with the orbital mechanics that are included in the quadrants, it has to be some sort of space station
Yeah.
that orbits Saturn through its rings.
She's literally just staring at this document like she's found a holy grail, and now she's just like, how the fuck am I gonna get to Saturn?
What's on Saturn, Frankie?
I think it's Paramorph Zero. I think it's a place where paramorphs go.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. That just was not the sentence I was expecting.
No, I mean that legitimately. There's a coded message in here. Look, I know I have crazy theories, but I'm telling you this one's legit.
I'm not saying I don't believe you. I, in fact, do. I just... Sorry, I'm going through a little whiplash right here.
How the fuck
do
am I
you
gonna
want
get
to
to
try-
Saturn?
Do you think you need
But
to
why-
go there?
Yeah. Why do you need to?
Because there's a message in here that is pointing towards some sort of orbitable space station in Saturn. Why would you not want to go? You're muted, babe.
You can just like get a ship and fly there.
I've never been off planet. Or moon in this case.
First time for everything.
Sounds expensive.
Does sound expensive.
Saturn is really far away.
That'd take forever. Is there a
You can get one of those teleporters to help.
I was going to just suggest just a telescope and see if everybody has images of where you're looking at, so you can see if there's anything there.
Our suggestions started with the same syllables.
Yeah. Look, you
And
need a concrete and
importantly-
abstract thinker at the same time. It works out well that way.
Importantly, neither of those words was telephone, because you need to leave that behind.
I thought we were leaving it behind. Why'd you bring that up? She's gonna be mad again.
I know. I just wanted to kind of nip it in the bud, you know.
Not
Right on my
helping.
parade, Frankie.
Not happen.
If the spirit moves you to go to Saturn, go to Saturn.
Maybe
But
You better.
try to do, and she like takes out her phone and she starts basically she wants to try to look into a space station in that area, but she also wants to make sure she has protections in place because she doesn't want to trip anyone's tripwires for looking into this.
Okay.
now we're being careful.
She is in full conspiracy mode. Like you can see her with her digital whiteboard out with the strings. She's like going to town over here.
We had
Connect through VPN.
Yeah.
This episode brought to you by NordVPN.
Yeah, give me a technology roll to set up protections.
Mice, you want to help?
Sure.
Do you know hacking? We're setting up hacking defense.
I mean, I can figure it out.
2.
Okay. Yeah, you get some two enhancement from that. And then let's see.
I got so many successes.
Nice. Cool.
Got 2 9s and 2 0s, you know.
Just going to town over there.
Which then became another 9.
Nice.
That's 5. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, with that, we might be able to, if we do trip someone's system, we might be able to determine whose system we're tripping.
I'm trying to think of a good role to get this. I'm gonna have to default to humanities because you're looking up information, doing having to do some actual research on this.
Damn it.
Because
Can I help with that
I will
instead?
say that simple searches bring up there are several orbital stations around Saturn, but none of them seem right. So you'll have to do some actual digging and research to find anything more.
Can I help out with that one?
Sure.
All right.
Well, on my 3 dice, I rolled an 8, a 10, and a 5. So I'm
Nice.
going to reroll my 10.
Well, and you have a 9 as well.
Cool.
Okay. 2 plus the 1 is 3.
You dig in a bit and find you go through old public records, old old job postings, and eventually you come upon you find something that doesn't add up. It was early in the days of solar expansion out to the stars after the Aberrant War and the crash, and work orders, job postings for going out and establishing space stations and orbital colonies and things out in the solar system, and you find a reference to a surveying mission sponsored by the Aeon Trinity that doesn't have any other corresponding references to any of the extant Saturn orbital stations. They went out there, they did something out there, but nothing seems to have come of it. Whereas all the other ones that you found either lead to a publicly known station that is in operation, or something that says, and then this project got shut down. This just leads off into nothing.
She just kind of leans back after a few minutes, and she just kind of bunks her head back against the couch. All right. My head hurts now. They gotta start, she relays what she's found, and there's gotta be something, some sort of contact that I could make somewhere. I'm not gonna figure it out tonight, but I don't know. I mean, you guys got the SR whatever, IRA or whatever, just I don't know.
You want us to ask there about Paradorf Zero and
Nah.
or whatever happened?
No, he already. If the old man couldn't tell us much, there isn't gonna be much.
Why don't we sit on this and maybe we can try having a think on it later? I'm a little tapped out right now, but My
Yeah.
poor stuff.
Time being what it is on the moon, it's tired time
Mm-hmm.
for a lot
Big
of you.
day.
It had a
We've had a
big day.
very big day.
But you did remind me as Frankie pulls up her dad's number and tries to call him again.
A lot of colorful characters.
You get an automated response from him. It is essentially like you call him up, and this is a thing that phones can do. Maybe now, but definitely in the future. Of a sort of an automated response that he left for you, and he says, "I am very busy making sure that you are safe. I will contact you."
She, does like the leave a message. She goes, "I love you, Dad. Thank you," and she just hangs up.
All right, and we will end on that tonight. So, did everyone have fun this game?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Got
Yeah.
trippy.
I thought about like where you guys were doing and like what you guys were doing in the terms of like the where the story was going, and I'm like, it would be so much less fun for them to interact with what I've got coming for you if they're like neck deep in bureaucracy and
Yeah.
Aeon Trinity shit. So and Clairsentience is fucking weird.
It is.
I have no problems with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I am okay with
Got
that.
to meet a big. We got to meet a bigwig,
Yeah. Or did you?
or did we?
Or did we?
Yeah. But anyway,
Or will we?
let's go over XP. Did anyone get a short-term aspiration this game?
Me.
I don't think I did.
Okay. All right.
I
Whenever we put on that
definitely did.
show,
Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. Definitely.
I got into trouble.
Next game, you will absolutely have a nice low key but awesome show. Okay, so you two get an XP. Unfortunately, the group doesn't get it. Did anyone get a long-term aspiration?
Not unless putting on a mini Muzzy and show counts, but that's not what my long-term one is.
If you're not going to claim it, then we'll leave it.
I would claim it. You did put on a Muslim show.
Sure, and now I've got this other stuff that's really fascinating to think about.
Indeed.
Okay.
You put a Muzzian show for a couple of friends.
Yeah.
The equivalent of breaking out your guitar at a party. You guys did spend more than half the momentum in a scene, so you all get an additional one. I'll definitely say that you get a story milestone as well.
How many for the long term?
2.
Okay.
You got another long-term aspiration off, so I think you have 2 more to establish.
I think we might get Mycelions next game too.
But yeah, so that's a total of So everyone got 2, plus any aspirations you achieved.
Cool.
There you go. All right. Well, does anyone have anything they would like to plug before we say goodnight?
No, I can't think of anything. Yeah, stay safe out there wherever you are in TV land. Make sure you're registered to vote.
That's coming.
Come out beforehand. And if you do get registered, help other people get registered and get out there and vote, because voting is important.
Indeed, it is. Anyone else? All right. Well, I have a thing to plug. Please buy Beyond Electric Dreams. It is $3 on the StoryPath Nexus. There will be a link in the show notes. If you would be so kind as to leave a review or a rating, I would definitely appreciate that. And if you would like to support the show and the channel, you can go to patreon.com/Simulacra Studios. That is the best way to help out the channel as a whole. You can also subscribe or follow us on Twitch and YouTube if you so desire. But beyond that, I think that is all for this episode of Luna Rocks. See everyone in 2 weeks.